Thank you for joining us today. Hello and welcome to From Lansing with Love. I'm your host, State Representative Leslie Love. Every month we discuss a different topic with interesting guests. I hope you will find this both informative and insightful. Today's show is something that not only affects Detroiters, but people from all over Michigan. And we're going to talk about what to do in the city of Detroit. To borrow a phrase from my guest, America's great comeback city. Tourism in Metro Detroit contributes heavily to the area's economy, comprising 9% of the area's 2 million jobs, according to Labor Force and Employment Outlook. More than 15.9 million people visit Metro Detroit annually, spending an estimate $4.8 billion. In fact, spending by visitors in Metro Detroit is at the highest level since 9/11. Detroit offers casino resort hotels along with many conventions and multi-day events throughout the year that draw crowds of hundreds of thousands of people to more than 3 million people. Detroit is also an international city with more than 15 million people crossing the highly traveled Ambassador Bridge and the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel annually. Plus, many area residents are tourism right here at home in their own backyard, with an estimated 46 million people living within the 300-mile radius of Metro Detroit. The area's attractions are numerous, and we're going to try and talk a little bit about some of all of them. We have cultural attractions like the Detroit Institute of Arts and the Charles Wright Museum of African American History. We have entertainment venues like the Fox Theater and sports shrines like Comerica Park and Ford Field. In fact, Detroit will soon be the only major sports town with all 4 major sports teams playing within the city and all 4 venues right in downtown Detroit. So we have as our guest today, Deanna Majchrzak, the Media Relations Manager and Guru for the Detroit Metro Conventions and Visitors Bureau. The Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau is the only organization that promotes Metro Detroit regionally, nationally, and internationally as a convention, business meeting, and tourism destination. The Visitors Bureau is neither a branch of any government nor a charitable foundation. It's an independent nonprofit economic development organization and the world's first convention bureau. So Deanna works closely with media from all over the country, showing them the best of Detroit. And in her 12 years at the Visitors Bureau, she has been able to watch the city transform into the vibrant destination that it is today. So I am so happy and elated to welcome my guest, Deanna Majchrzak. Hi, welcome to From Lansing with Love.
Thank you for having me here today.
So you must have the most exciting job ever. Do you feel like Santa Claus when you do this, to just show off the city?
It's really a fun job, and most people think all I do is go out and eat and go to museums, but I get to do a lot more and actually show people what's going on in the city and tell them what's happening.
Well, tell us. So what's going on in the city? What's happening now? It's summer, and we'd like to know, what can we expect this year from?
Right now is a really exciting time in Detroit. A couple weeks ago, the Q line, which is our new streetcar, just opened up, so visitors can take that from right near the riverfront all the way to the New Center area. We haven't had anything like that in decades, so transportation is a big key in trying to get people to be able to move around downtown. So we're really excited about that. There's also a new bike share program that opened up in the past month called MOGO. So those are 2 new transportation options. And then the big thing this summer that's going to open is the District Detroit Little Caesars Arena, which is going to be the new hockey arena and basketball stadium for the Detroit Pistons. So this year is just huge for us in Detroit, and we're just moving forward.
Wow. I know I was at the fireworks, and I know earlier in the year we had the Electronic Music Festival, and we have like these multi-day events that happen in the city of Detroit. Are you involved in that in any way, and how do you assist?
The main thing that we do at the Convention and Visitors Bureau is we promote these events. We're promoting them to people throughout the state, throughout the country, throughout the world, because we want people to come here and experience these festivals and events themselves. themselves.
The Visitor Bureau has a number of ways that you help visitors plan their trip to Detroit. Can you tell us something about that?
We do. We are kind of like the one-stop shop. So if you're thinking about coming to Detroit, you can call up. We have destination counselors on hand. If you have any questions, they can help answer your questions, help you, decide, where you're going to stay, what to do. We have a visitor guide called Visit Detroit Magazine, and that's published twice a year. We also have a TV show called Discover the D. That is something that kind of goes out in the city and shows you what's going on and explains, fun things to do. And then we have maps, and we have this discount program where you can get 20% or more at many of our attractions. So we have all these different resources that are completely free. So all you have to do is call or go to our website, visitdetroit.com, which is newly renovated. So lots of great information there. So visitors can reach out to us, and we're here to help.
So there's a trend of people kind of staycationing. And Detroit is a great place to staycation. When I go downtown, I feel like I'm in a new place. What is this new downtown that I see? And I feel like I could really vacation in Detroit. Do you have a physical location, and what are some of the things, the trends you're seeing people do when they staycate?
So there are so many attractions in Detroit. We are so fortunate. We have these world-class museums like the Detroit Institute of Arts, the Motown Museum, the Henry Ford. So people can just come here, and you could, whether it's a long weekend or an entire week, and you can go and explore. The main thing is they're affordable. Some of them are free. We have that discount pass that people can use. You can go down to Campus Martius Park and go to the beach. You don't expect there to be a beach in the center of downtown Detroit. You can go explore the riverfront and all these different festivals that take place in those areas too. So you can really come down and stay in one of the casino hotels, stay in one of the historic hotels like the Westin Book Cadillac or the brand new Foundation Hotel, and make it a vacation, a staycation.
Right. And a lot of new bed and breakfasts are coming online on Ferry Street. There's some, and
the Inn on 97 Wider just opened up as well. So there's all these different experiences, whether you want the typical big box hotel experience or you want the boutique hotel. We've got quite a few new hotels opening in the next year. And then you also have like the bed and breakfast. So there's all these different options for you.
But we also have lots of food. So you would think that New York might be known for conies, but I think Detroit is like the Coney Island capital of America. So are there now foodie tours that are happening here? And if so, can you tell us some of those?
There are. One of the popular food tours is at Easter Market. On Saturday mornings, there's a company called Feed on the Street, and you go through and you get to meet all the vendors, and you get to taste. And it's called Come Hungry, Leave Happy. So you really, you come and you go through and you get to do all this tastings, and you are full when you are done. And there's just so many different other tour groups that do bar crawls and restaurant crawls, and you can kind of really experience everything that's going on. The Washington Post last year called us a food mecca, and then also we were on the 7 places to top food destinations in National Geographic Traveler. So people from all over the world are noting this, and we have these really great chefs, Michelin-rated chefs coming, like at the Foundation Hotel. So we have a really great destination for food and fun, and that's what you really need to have a good time in Detroit.
Yes. So do you have a physical location?
We do. We're located in the 211 West Fort building on the 10th floor.
Okay. And people can just come and figure out, I want to do something. I want to create a unique experience, or I'm getting married and I want to have an engagement party. Is this something what are the different reasons why someone would come to the Visitors Bureau?
So our 2 main targets are the leisure traveler and the meetings and conventions. So we market and sell Metro Detroit, which is Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County, for leisure visitors to come here for a vacation and then people to host their meetings. We also help some of those, like if someone's has a wedding or family reunions are really big in Detroit too. So we help, once again, as a nonstop one-stop shop where we help find them their hotels, we help them find their meeting space, all of the service providers. We do all of that.
Tell me something about your history and what does that mean? And are people internationally, nationally looking at what you all do at the Visitors Bureau as a model?
They really are. Back in 1896, there was a newspaper journalist named Milton Carmichael, and he was seeing that Detroit could be a destination for meetings, and he got the business community to work together to try to attract more meetings. And through time, we've grown. Now we have over 60 employees, and like I said, we have a sales team, a marketing team, and we are out there selling the city to try to get more people to come here. I think we really can be a destination that other people look at as a model, as how we have come so far.
Well, why is that important? Why is it important, even in the founding, that they wanted to have a destination, so a place where people can come and meet? How does that help our economy? Why is that relevant?
So once, if a convention comes, whether it's a couple hundred to a couple thousand or tens of thousands of attendees, they come and they stay in our hotels. They eat in our restaurants. They're shopping. So all of that economic impact and direct spending comes back to us, and it helps with jobs, and it also helps with our perception, because our goal, we want them to come here and have a great time, go home and tell their friends, family, and coworkers about what a great time they had in Detroit, and then come back and then host other meetings here too.
Right. And maybe even move to Detroit.
Yes, that's another thing. And right now, there are so many new developments. Like downtown, there were probably at least 50 or more different projects going on, whether it's lofts or other housing developments. So there's been 98% occupancy recently. So people are moving downtown. There are all these different amenities for you to take advantage of. So it's really a great time in the city.
Wow. Are you ever overwhelmed by the impact, the growth? Because it seemed like for many years we were just kind of slugging along. And as you said, we're the comeback kid right now. And how has this impacted you? And how are you funded? How do you all exist?
So the Convention and Visitors Bureau has an assessment. All hotels and motels that have 35 rooms or more, that assessment comes to the CVB, because then we are pitching for these conventions to come here and stay in those hotels, and then we can market and sell the region. We also are a membership-based organization. We have over 800 members, including restaurants, hotels, service providers, tour operators, and we work with them to help these conventions and to work with these visitors as well.
So what's been one of the most successful conventions that's come to Detroit, would you say?
One of the most successful. 2 years ago, we had ASAE, the American Society of Association Executives, and that's the Super Bowl of conventions.
Oh.
And those are the people who come here and they go back and tell their board members, hey, we should have our our convention in Detroit. So that was really big for the city. The community came together and kind of rallied to try to put our best foot forward. In 2020, we have Alcoholics Anonymous coming, and that's another big one. It's like kind of like another Super Bowl size. So we also had the Evangelical Lutherans. So this was tens of thousands of teenagers. And that was a big deal for them to come here. And we all were on deck and helping out and making sure they had a really good experience.
Have you seen any trends in the change of or making any influence with media about how they speak about Metro Detroit?
Definitely. There are so many media. We've had more media come to us and writing more of the positive stories than ever. Earlier this year, we were on the New York Times Places to Go. So that's huge. We've been on a lot of those lists in recent years, the places to go. And national or internationally even, we have so many. We actually have brought on someone to just specifically work with people from all over the world. And we have representation through the state in Germany, China, and the UK. So we're proactively reaching out to those media as well. We bring them here, we do the familiarization tours, and they're usually pleasantly surprised. They have no idea, what's going on, and that we have like a revitalized riverfront and all of these, great historic buildings and this great architecture. They love that. And so they come, they take all these great pictures, and once again go back home and share the story and help change that perception.
Right. So, like we had the young lady from the HGTV show who renovated a home, and that gets publicity. We just opened up a Department of Natural Resources kind of museum near the waterfront, and so every time we kind of have these celebrities come back home and do projects in the state, I think we get a lot of national attention for that as well. But what's been the biggest surprise you've heard or seen a reaction to our city, and what have the visitors been most impressed with?
I think the walkability and the bikeability. Like Detroit is such a huge city, and there's so much flat land, and you can, like I mentioned the beach earlier. You don't expect to see a beach in the middle of, downtown Detroit. And the riverfront, I think, blows people away too, because it's so accessible. You can go fishing, you can go ride your bike, you can walk up and down the riverfront. Like it's just an amazing transformation.
It is. It's amazing to see just 5 years ago and compared to today.
Just last week, we have different changes. Every time I was talking earlier, you walk down the street and there's a new restaurant or a new hotel had just opened or there's a sign for something else new that's coming. It's hard for me to keep track. It's hard for me to go eat at all these restaurants and know.
Invite me.
Yeah. But we're doing a good job of trying to keep track of everything and try to push out the good word of everything that's happening.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about the MOGO and alternate transportation, and also another gym sitting in the city of Detroit that has a lot of nice features that now the state is managing. So we'll come back after this break and talk about those things. See you right back.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Living seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Welcome back to From Lansing with Love. I'm with Deanna Majchrzak, the Media Relations Manager for the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau. Thank you again for being here and welcome back. So when we left off on the break, I said there is this gym that we have sitting in our downtown Detroit's own Central Park, so to speak, Belle Isle. And since the state has taken over management, or since it's become a state park, there's been lots of improvements happening. What are some of the improvements that you know of, and what are some of the visions for future improvements to the park?
Some of the major improvements include removing the dead trees and just cleaning up the park, which is a big deal for visitors who are coming there. Making more restrooms accessible. The Scout Fountain is now open, or is now up and running more than it was in the past. In the future, they're looking at having more recreational activities. They have canoeing and kayaking rental there now, but they want to expand on that. They also, I've heard, might open up like a restaurant or a cafe, so you can go there and then go eat and go do all your recreation activities. They have done a lot of work on the buildings, including like the conservatory and the casino. I don't think a lot of people realize that there are all these little attractions in this park, like the Dawson Great Lakes Museum, the conservatory, and the aquarium.
Are they going to reopen the aquarium?
The aquarium is open.
It's open.
Limited, like on the weekends, but that is open.
And then the greenhouse?
Yep, the conservatory, that's open too.
Okay. Wow, it's just beautiful. But you mentioned walking on the beach. We can do that on Belle Isle. And then there's canoeing and fishing. But you also mentioned bike riding. So we have new MOGO in the city. But what about on Belle Isle? Do you think they'll make some trails or maybe some horseback riding?
I don't know if we'd go as far as horseback riding,
Oh,
but
shucks.
there are a lot of biking options. And right on the riverfront, there's a company called Wheelhouse Detroit, and you can rent a bike there, and you can take that all the way to the Belle Isle. I've done it before, and it's a really nice ride to be able to see the entire island. And then, like you said, with the Mogo, you could also rent those bikes if you wanted to go over to Belle
Yeah,
Isle.
tell us about Mogo. I see these bikes all over now in different areas that it looks like you can rent or do something. Where did this come from? And yeah.
So this is through the Downtown Detroit Partnership, and there are bikes. It's pretty much east and west of Woodward. So if you're going to take Woodward, you're going to take the Q line. But then if you want to go in the neighborhoods or the other east and west streets, there are these bike setups, and it's $8 a day, which is a lot more affordable than paying to park or go move your car around. And it's in 30-minute increments. So it's to get from point A to point B. So let's say I want to either go to lunch or I have a meeting that's up in Midtown. I can get on a bike, ride it up, and then dock it. My meeting's over, get on it, and then ride it back, and then dock it. So they have everything's online, and they have an app too, so you can kind of see where all the bikes are and see how many bikes are there. They have ambassadors out because it just launched a couple weeks ago, but they've had a lot of great feedback on this program.
So the ridership is good for that? That's really exciting. And so we're becoming, and I see this particularly when I'm in the Wayne State University campus area, a lot more folks riding bikes and walking. And so there's going to have to be some education done about sharing the road with bike riders as well. 'Cause
Yes, they did that with and with the Q line as well, because people were not used to this. Like I said, everyone drives, and so having all this other forms of mobility, and there's also a lot more bike lanes, and they're adding more bike lanes, which is really exciting.
And the Q line, I know they had a free period to ride every time I'm on Woodward, and that Q line passes. It is packed to capacity with people. Do you know if they've extended that?
They
free?
did.
Okay.
It's extended through Labor Day now. So every time you get on there, it's jam-packed, and it's really nice because you can get from downtown and all the way to Midtown, which you couldn't do before.
Well, that's nice. So speaking of Labor Day, what's coming up in August and September? What's on the calendar? What can we look forward to in the city of Detroit?
So one of the biggest events in August is the Woodward Dream Cruise. That happens out in the suburbs from along Woodward Avenue from Ferndale all the way to Pontiac, and it is the biggest car festival ever. It's the largest one-day car festival, and there's like 40,000 muscle cars up and down Woodward Avenue. Millions of spectators. People are out there all week. They have their lawn chairs watching the cars go by. But then on that Saturday is the big day where they're cruising up and down Woodward Avenue. And then when you get into Labor Day weekend, there's a really, that's an exciting weekend for whether you want to do your staycation that weekend. We've got the Jazz Festival that takes place at Campus Martius to Hart Plaza, and it's free, so you get all these really great acts. And then there's Arts Beats and Eats over in Royal Oak. So it's music, food, and a lot of great entertainment and art. And then out at Suburban Collection Showplace is the State Fair. And there's that, typical state fair with all the animals and the midway, and they also have the Shrine Circus there too. And then out in Macomb, there is the Peach Festival. So there's all these different activities. You could do one each day or, do them all in the weekend. So.
Wow. There's never an opportunity to be bored.
Not at all. Not at all.
There is so much to do. Even if I pick up a Metro Times and I'm going, oh, God, I'm overwhelmed with the options that we have. But Detroit is also known for signature events. So what are some of our, in Metro Detroit, some of our signature events that you are?
I would say the Ford Fireworks, which take place at the end of June. It's a beautiful show. It's really like none other. It's one of the largest in the country, right on the Detroit River, and you can see it on both sides, Canada and in Detroit. There's also the Woodward Dream Cruise, which I already mentioned. America's Thanksgiving Day Parade is huge. That happens Thanksgiving morning on along Woodward Avenue. And then the North American International Auto Show is another signature event that takes place in January. People from all over the world come to that.
Yeah. Detroit is doing big things, and I think sometimes when we are used to being here, we kind of lose sight of the fact that it's pretty major. To have a Thanksgiving Day parade that's televised nationally, to have an international fireworks show, where many major metropolitan cities don't really invest that money. And so this year, with Ford being the sponsor, it's huge to our North American International Auto Show. It's just amazing. And we have the opportunity to really celebrate and enjoy those programs right here and those activities and events in the city of Detroit. But here's the other exciting thing. We have this new Little Caesars Arena coming in online. And so not only will we have Red Wing hockey downtown, Lions football, Tigers baseball, but then we get our Pistons back. So we have basketball. Is there anything else that you know of coming to that Little Caesars Arena? Any breaking news?
I don't have breaking news, but there will be a lot of really cool concerts. They've already announced, like, Kid Rock is going to be the opener. I think Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran. So there's going to be these world-renowned acts. They're going to be at Little Caesars Arena. They're going to have programming, I believe they said around like 300 days a year. So it's not just about the basketball and the hockey and the entertainment. So there's always going to be programming there. So even if you don't have a ticket to something, you can still experience this brand new district.
Yeah, you know, I have been working all term on job creation, making Michigan, particularly metropolitan Detroit, an attractive place to work and to attract business to the area. And the Little Caesars Arena has definitely done that with our construction and skilled trades jobs. And it's had a great impact on our economy, just those jobs. And then the other projects that's going to come online, from the Q line to this, we'll see more construction and rehab work downtown. But what do you think the other impact this development has on the city of Detroit?
This is going to be huge because there's, along with the arena, there's also going to be, there's talks of hotels and restaurants and retail. So it's just revitalizing that area. And the big part is it's connecting the downtown and the midtown and the new center. Because before it was parking lots, and so now you can come down and have a great experience right in that whole, the district, that new entertainment district. And like you mentioned with jobs, they said they're going to have around 1,100 permanent jobs. So there's all these different types of skill sets, not on just the construction side, but you're going to need people to run those hotels and to work in those restaurants and at those shops. So there's going to be a lot of great opportunities.
Yeah. This is I think it's very exciting to see the buzz that's coming online, but also there are people who sometimes look at all the new development and creation, and they're not that excited. And I think there are people in the city who may feel like they're pushing out the people who've been there for years and years and years, who've invested, and now the new shiny kid comes in town, and they're moving the old establishment and businesses away. Is there anything the Visitors Bureau is doing to kind of bridge that, so we still embrace the old but welcome the new at the same time?
We really work with our members and keeping them involved or informed on what's going on with one another, and welcoming in those new people and the old people, because it seems like we have such a nice community, and they actually are working together. We're all working towards the same cause. So I think that the different businesses are working hand in hand and trying to make us all a better city.
So I am very proud to be a Detroiter, and there's so many things to be proud about in this city, whether it's the Charles H. Wright Museum, the Michigan Science Center, the Detroit Institute of Art, Motown Museum, Electronic Music Festival, the Free Jazz Concert, the largest international free jazz concert. We have lovely theaters, not just to mention the Fox, but the Fisher, the Hillberry, the Bonsdale College. We have Collegiate. So it's everything. Anything else, Deanna, that we should be looking forward to, and that the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau can do for people watching this show today?
I say just help us spread the positive word of what's going on in Detroit. Come down and experience it yourself. We're out and about all the time. We have a mobile visitor center called the D Rover that's all over the metro area at these events, so you can learn more about what's going on. Go to our website, visitdetroit.com, read our magazine, see our show. Just help us spread that positive word and be part of the comeback city, be part of that major comeback.
Well, folks, that's about all the time we have today. And I'd like to once again thank my guest, the wonderful Deanna Majchrzak. the Media Relations Manager for the Detroit Metro Conventions and Visitors Bureau, for joining us today. Thank you so much. There's so much happening in the city of Detroit, and I really hope that everyone has an opportunity to just go out and explore your own city. Have a staycation, not a vacation this summer. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for watching. If you have an idea for a show or would like to be a show guest, please contact my office, and that contact information will be on the screen. So until next time, be good to yourself and each other. And with that, we're all clear and out of here.